Hi, everyone. In this issue, we're going to talk about models, specifically the models that are being developed around COVID-19. To do that, I want us to think about sports. Hang with me, I promise we're coming back to COVID-19. But I want you to imagine that your favorite team is about to play their largest rival, and everyone is trying to figure out who's likely to win this game. There are some data points that you could look at that might give you a hint as to how the game goes before the first whistle ever blows. What's the prior record of the two teams? How have they played against others? What are the available talent and resources that are on each team? Do they have all the equipment that they need? Do they have the right people in the right place? And what's their level of preparation? Are they practicing routinely? Are they in playing shape? And then, what are the team's strengths and weaknesses? What positions are really well covered and what positions are a little bit shaky? So you could take all that information and before the game, you could look at it and you could build a model around how you think the game would turn out. And people that make predictions and rankings about this do that all the time. They may put different amounts of weight on these different pieces, but they've built a model for how they think the game will likely go. And then once the game starts, you can continue to add to that model. Is everyone following the playbook, or did something unexpected happen? Are there any injuries that take out key players, or are there regular people that have really risen to the challenge to become superstars? What's the role of the crowd? Are they in the game and are they helping swing momentum towards the home team? And how much time is remaining? And all that information throughout the game, you can continue to feed into your model and refine the prediction of how you think the game is going to go. Now let's take that analogy and let's apply it to COVID-19. And let me be real clear. I am in no way suggesting that this pandemic is a game, that this is something that we should be taking wagers on. That's not what I mean. This is serious, life-threatening stuff. But I think the analogy holds at least to some part, because the question that we're asking is how well will we compete against COVID-19? And there are bits of data that we can use to build these models that give us an idea of how severe the disease is likely to be. What happens if people don't take any specific actions? What happens if they do take actions? These things on the board behind me, this is data that we can feed into a model that tells us what do we know at this point in time about how the virus behaves. What do we know about its relative infectivity? What do we know about symptoms and about individuals that are a higher risk for severity of symptoms and fatality rates? How has this behaved in other countries? And it hasn't behaved the same way in every country because each country has a different makeup of people that are at risk and not at risk and healthcare systems that are prepared or not. So different people can build a model based on what they know and how they weight the importance of these and then make predictions. And then as we move through the pandemic, there's additional data that we can incorporate in. Is testing widely available? Is testing accurate? Are people following the appropriate interventions like washing your hands and maintaining social distancing? Do we have a capacity in our hospitals? Do we have access to the right medicines? Are we developing new medicines? Are vaccines on the horizon? What's human behavior going to do? We can make recommendations all day long, but unless people are willing to follow those recommendations, that doesn't do us any good. So the models take all this into account, and different models weight this in different ways. The exciting thing is that over the last several weeks, we've seen the models actually reduce the number of individuals that they believe will be seriously affected and that they've reduced the loss of life. We've seen the curve flatten. That's because you're doing your job. That's not because the models were wrong. We've added new data as we've gone along that reshapes what those outcomes are. So you're responsible for the positive reductions. Keep it up. Human behavior and time are the two things that we really need to watch. I know you are tired of this. I know that you are frustrated. The weather is beautiful in many parts of the country. You want to go out, you want to mingle, you want to get together with people you haven't seen. This is not the time for that. The game is not over until the last whistle blows. And you can change at the very last minute, the very last second, you can change the momentum of the game. So stay with the course. Stay with what we know works. I hope you found this helpful. I know it's a different way to think about models, but I wanted to give you a sense of what goes into building a model and why we see the models changing over time. It's because of you. Good work. You're doing what you need to do. Keep it up. If you find this useful, please share this with other folks. Our tagline is science worth sharing, and that's what we hope that this is. So until next time, thanks for watching and stay safe.